I'm Jesse K, and I am standing in front of my G-Body Wagon project that we just made 700 horsepower with. So this Carcraft magazine project is pretty much near completion, but I've got a slight issue. My tires are rubbing. With these big 275 tires, a lot wider than the stock ever had in a G-Body, and much lower ride height, we've got just a little bit of tire rubbing on the fenders all the way around. So there's a few different ways to combat this issue, but there's really only one way to do it right. First off, I tried the old baseball trick. Basically, you take a large round pipe or a baseball bat and you roll it around the tire and around the edge of the fender. However, it actually pushed back against the tire pretty harsh, and I was really worried about damaging the sidewall. Another option is to just use a good old-fashioned hammer. I made some relief cuts inside the metal on the inside of the fender and then hammered it out, but found that the metal needed to go somewhere, so as I drew the fender in, that fender lip in, it pulled and made dimples on the outside of the fender, causing me a lot more work now to get those dents back out. So those two methods failed, and now I'm going to attempt to do it the right way with the Eastwood Fender Roller. This thing retails for $79.99. So the tool consists of the roller wheel, which makes contact with the inside of the fender, as well as a lock where you can adjust it, a height adjustment, and then the pressure adjustment. And this determines the angle from away from the hub. So let's get it installed. So the tool is installed here on the hub. We're using my lug nuts. I went ahead and removed the caliper out of the way because the tool just touches the caliper here and there. I need to be able to have the full range all the way around the fender. I've also removed my hardware that connects the inner fender to the outer fender here. That's a case-to-case basis. I can't recommend it on your particular application, but it's very important that you take a look at it. More than likely you'll need to remove it, remove the whole inner fender, or at least just remove the hardware. So next we're going to be using our heat gun to heat up the paint. This will reduce the chance of it cracking or flaking or damaging any of the paint. Ideally you want to get it around 120 degrees. I do not have a thermometer, so I'm going to put a safe, even layer of heat across the paint. Don't put it on high and concentrate on one area or you'll damage the paint, so go easy with it. So now that we have a little bit of heat in the fender, we're going to go ahead and set up the tool. So I like to start out with about an 80 degree, 70 degree angle where it's a little bit more vertical than it is horizontal, and then we're going to work our way to like a 45 degree angle with the roller. So this starts by pushing up on the fender first, and that will kind of encourage that fender lip to roll up and into the inside of the body. Rather than just straight pushing it out, I like to push up on it to begin with. We've got the roller set where we want it, adjusting the height, and so now we're just barely touching right here, so we're going to run up on the adjustment. So you actually need the elbow grease to do this tool. The tool itself does not provide the leverage. So you set up the tool and then we roll it. Roll, here we go. So after this one is just a couple, and then I feel that there's not very much tension here, so I can go ahead and give it a little bit of a turn and get another bite. You never want to turn this more than a quarter of a turn at a time. Here you can see I just did probably an eighth of a turn. You want to go really slow. So this part of the process would be very slow and tedious. And you want to work it back and forth until you don't feel too much drag anymore. So now that I've done that, I'm going to reposition the tool inward and give myself a little bit more of an angle. Again, we're working towards a 45 degree angle, and not every single, it's not an exact science. So to fast forward a bit, we've got a close to a 45 degree angle now on our roller. We're gonna work it back and forth a little bit. Don't have very much tension here, so I'm gonna give myself a good turn until I get a little bit of tension. All right, here we go. Right here. Just a little bit more. There we go. So in all honesty, we've actually rolled this fender before we started the video, but I just wanted to run through the process to show you guys what it's like. So it might take you a little bit more time, maybe a little bit less time, but you've got some of the basic principles on how this tool works. Again, I mentioned it once before and I will say again, a big tip is do not do more than 1/4 turn of this bar at a time, or you could strain or damage something on the fender. If it takes you a long time to get the tool set up, go back over it with the heat gun. Again, keep it on a medium or lowish setting, and very, very smooth, very even. Do not hesitate or stop when you're using the heat gun. Thank you guys very much for watching, and if you want to follow me anymore, I'm Jesse K Photos on Instagram, and thank you very much to Eastwood for supplying such an awesome tool.